Dr. Lisa Morgan wiped sweat from her forehead as she checked her medical supplies for the third time that morning. The heat on Kepler 442b was always bad, but today felt worse than usual. She walked through the human military base, watching soldiers prepare for another patrol into the contested areas of the moon. For 3 years now, humans and Zephyrians had been fighting over the valuable crystals buried deep in this rock floating in space. Lisa had been here for 8 months as a field medic with the Terran Medical Corps. She joined the 7th Infantry Division not because she wanted to fight, but because wounded soldiers needed doctors who cared about saving lives. Every day she saw young men and women come back hurt from battles that seemed to have no end. The Zephyrians wanted the crystals for their technology, and humans wanted them for their own machines. Neither side would give up. Captain Jake Martinez walked over to her medical station. His face looked serious as always. Jake had been fighting this war longer than most, and it showed in his tired eyes and the way he carried himself. Like every step hurt. "Doc, we need you to come with us today," he said. "Intel says there might be wounded friendlies in Sector 7. Lisa nodded and grabbed her medical bag. She had learned to pack light but carry everything she might need to save a life. Her bag held bandages, pain medication, surgical tools, and emergency blood packs. She also carried a small scanner that could tell her basic information about injuries. The bag was heavy, but she had grown strong carrying it through 8 months of war. The patrol consisted of 6 soldiers plus Lisa. They moved carefully through the rocky terrain, always watching for mines and enemy scouts. The landscape looked like a gray wasteland with strange blue crystals poking out of the ground everywhere. These crystals were beautiful but deadly because people were willing to kill for them. Private Ben Foster walked point, checking for traps with his scanner. Corporal Amy Davis handled communications, keeping contact with base. The other soldiers spread out in formation, their weapons ready. Lisa stayed in the middle where she would be safest but could reach anyone who got hurt quickly. They had been walking for 2 hours when they heard a sound that made everyone freeze. It was crying, but not human crying. The sound was higher pitched and had a musical quality that humans could never make. "Zephyrian," whispered Jake. His hand moved to his weapon automatically through his binoculars. Ben spotted movement near a cluster of broken rocks about 300 meters away. "Sir, I see someone small," he reported quietly. "Looks like a kid, maybe hurt?" Jake took the binoculars and looked for himself. What he saw made him frown. A young Zephyrian girl sat trapped among several small metal objects that Lisa recognized immediately as anti-personnel mines. The girl's blue skin was pale with shock, and dark fluid that served as Zephyrian blood stained the ground around her. Her left leg was gone below the knee. "We keep moving," Jake decided. "Not our problem." Lisa stared through her own small binoculars. At the girl, she looked so young and scared. Her large eyes were filled with tears, and she kept calling out in her own language. Every few seconds she would try to move, then stop when she saw the mines around her. She was trapped and dying. Slowly, "Sir, she's just a child," Lisa said. "She's the enemy," Jake replied. "We have our own people to worry about." Lisa watched the girl try to stop her bleeding with her small hands. The wound looked bad, and without medical help soon the child would die. "She'd bleed out in an hour." Lisa said. "Good," said one of the other soldiers. One less enemy to worry about, but Lisa could not stop looking at the girl. In 8 months of war, she had seen many terrible things, but this felt different. This was a child who needed help, and Lisa was a doctor. Her job was to save lives, not count which side they fought for. "I'm going to help her," Lisa announced. Jake grabbed her arm. "Doc, that's a direct order to stay put. Those mines will kill you both." Lisa looked at Jake, then back at the girl. The child had stopped crying and was getting weaker. Her blue skin was becoming almost white. "I didn't become a doctor to watch children die," Lisa said. She pulled free from Jake's grip. "Lisa, don't be stupid," Amy called out. "She's an alien. Let her people save her." "Her people aren't here," Lisa replied. She studied the minefield, carefully looking for a safe path. She had trained for this kind of situation but had never actually walked through live mines before. Her heart was beating fast, but she forced herself to stay calm. Lisa activated her medical scanner and switched it to detect metal objects. The mines showed up as small red dots on her screen. She could see a narrow path between them if she was very careful. "Cover me," she told the patrol. "Doc, I can't let you do this," Jake said. Lisa was already moving. She stepped carefully, testing each footstep before putting her full weight down. The mines were old but still active. One wrong step would kill her and probably make it impossible to save the girl. Behind her, she heard Jake cursing and ordering the other soldiers to watch for enemy movement. It took Lisa 10 minutes to reach the girl. Up close, she could see that the child was even younger than she had thought, maybe 12 years old by human standards. Her translucent blue skin was beautiful despite being covered in blood. Her large eyes watched Lisa with a mixture of hope and fear. "It's okay," Lisa said softly. "I'm here to help." She didn't know if the girl understood English, but her tone was gentle. Lisa quickly examined the wound. The mine had taken the leg cleanly below the knee, which was actually good because it meant less damaged tissue to work with. She injected the girl with human pain medication, hoping it would work on Zephyrian biology. Then she used special foam to stop the bleeding and wrap the stump tightly. The girl said something in her musical language. Lisa didn't understand the words, but the meaning was clear. "Thank you." Lisa carefully lifted the Zephyrian girl in her arms. The child was lighter than a human of the same size, with hollow bones like a bird. Her name was Zara. Lisa learned from the few words the girl could speak in broken Galactic Standard. Getting back through the minefield took another 15 minutes of careful steps, with Lisa's heart pounding the entire time. Jake and his soldiers provided cover, scanning the area for enemy movement that never came. When they reached the base, Lisa carried Zara straight to the medical facility. The other soldiers stared as she passed. Most had never seen a Zephyrian up close before. Their translucent blue skin and large, luminous eyes made them look almost like spirits. Some soldiers whispered among themselves, wondering why Lisa had risked her life for an enemy. Dr. Patricia Wells, the chief medical officer, met Lisa at the door of the medical bay. Her face was angry. "What is that thing doing here?" she demanded. "Her name is Zara, and she's a wounded child who needs medical care," Lisa replied, carrying the girl to an empty bed. "She's an enemy combatant," Patricia said. "We don't treat enemy wounded here." Lisa gently placed Zara on the bed and began checking her vital signs. The girl's breathing was shallow, and her skin had turned almost white. "She's 12 years old," Lisa said. "How is she a combatant?" Patricia watched as Lisa worked. "You brought an alien into my medical facility without authorization. This violates at least 6 different military regulations." "Sue me," Lisa said, not looking up from her patient. She was connecting Zara to human monitoring equipment, hoping it would work with alien biology. The heart rate monitor showed erratic readings that Lisa couldn't interpret. Within an hour, Colonel Ryan Brooks arrived at the medical bay. He was a tall man with gray hair and cold eyes who had been fighting wars longer than Lisa had been alive. "Dr. Morgan, explain yourself," he ordered. Lisa finished adjusting Zara's IV line before turning to face the colonel. The girl was sleeping now, sedated with pain medication that seemed to work on her species. "I found a wounded child and provided medical care," Lisa said simply. "You found an enemy alien and brought it into our base," Brooks corrected. "This creature could be a spy or carrying diseases that could kill our entire unit." "She's a little girl with one leg," Lisa replied. "The only thing she's carrying is trauma and blood loss." Brooks studied Zara for a moment. The child looked so small and fragile on the large human medical bed. "Where are her people?" he asked. "We don't know," Lisa admitted. "She was alone in that minefield for who knows how long. She's been surviving on scraps and rainwater." "Then we'll transfer her to the prisoner facility until we can arrange an exchange," Brooks decided. Lisa stepped between the colonel and Zara's bed. "Sir, she needs constant medical care. The prisoner facility doesn't have the equipment to keep her alive." "That's not our problem," Brooks said. Our medical supplies are for human soldiers, not alien children. But Lisa had already begun studying Zephyrian biology using captured medical databases. What she found worried her. Zephyrian physiology was completely different from human. Their circulatory system used copper-based hemolymph instead of iron-based. Blood, their nervous system operated on different electrical frequencies. Even their bone structure was hollow like birds, making them fragile but also difficult to treat with human methods, the pain medication that had helped. Zara initially was already wearing off, but Lisa couldn't give her more without risking an overdose. Human antibiotics might poison her. Standard prosthetics would never work with her nervous system. Everything Lisa knew about medicine was designed for humans, not aliens. That night, Lisa contacted Dr. Sam Carter, a bioengineering specialist back on Earth. Sam had been her friend since medical school and was now working on advanced prosthetics for injured veterans. "Lisa, what you're describing is impossible," Sam said over the video call. "We've never built anything for alien biology." "Then help me figure it out," Lisa replied. "This girl deserves a chance to walk again." Sam looked thoughtful. "I'd need detailed scans of her nervous system, bone density measurements, muscle fiber analysis. Even then, it would take months of research." Lisa looked over at Zara, who was awake and watching her with curious eyes. The girl had been trying to learn English words, and Lisa had been learning basic Zephyrian phrases. Despite the language barrier, they were beginning to understand each other. "What if we used local materials?" Lisa asked Sam. "The crystals on this moon have unique properties. They seem to resonate with Zephyrian biology somehow." "That's crazy enough to work," Sam admitted. "But you'd need serious engineering support to build anything functional." Lisa thought about Sergeant Mike Thompson, a combat engineer she had worked with before. Mike was good with robotics and had access to salvaged equipment from battles. "I might know someone," she said. Over the next few days, Zara's condition improved slowly. She was eating human food that Lisa had modified to be safer for alien digestion. She was learning more English words every day, but infection was setting in around her amputation site, and Lisa's limited medical options were running out. "The infection is spreading," Patricia warned during morning rounds. "If we can't stop it, she could die." Lisa had tried every safe antibiotic she could think of. Human medicines were too toxic for Zephyrian biology. She needed something different, something that would work with alien physiology instead of against it. That's when she remembered the blue crystals scattered across the moon's surface. Some of them had healing properties that both humans and Zephyrians seemed to benefit from. Local soldiers had reported faster healing when they carried small crystal fragments. Though no one understood why. Lisa gathered samples of different crystals and began testing them carefully. She dissolved tiny amounts in sterilized water and tested them on samples of Zara's blood. Most crystals had no effect, but one type caused the blood to regenerate damaged cells faster than normal. "You're experimenting on her?" Patricia accused, when she found Lisa preparing a crystal solution. "I'm trying to save her life," Lisa replied. "Nothing else is working." The crystal treatment worked better than Lisa had hoped. Within hours, the infection began to retreat. Zara's skin returned to its normal blue color, and her strength started coming back. But Lisa knew this was only the beginning of a much bigger challenge. "She needs a prosthetic leg," Lisa told Mike Thompson when she found him in the engineering bay. "Something that will work with alien biology." Mike looked up from the robot he was repairing. "Doc, I fix machines, not aliens." "Then help me build a machine that an alien can use," Lisa said. She showed him the scans she had taken of Zara's nervous system. Her brain sends signals differently than ours, but it's still sending signals. Mike studied the data with growing interest. He was the kind of person who loved solving impossible problems. "We'd need servo motors, neural interfaces, and a power source," he said slowly. "Plus something to connect it all to her biology. The crystals," Lisa said. "They bond with Zephyrian tissue at the cellular level," Mike grinned. "Doc, you might be crazy enough to pull this off." Lisa and Mike worked through the night in the engineering bay, surrounded by broken machine parts and crystal samples. They had gathered servo motors from destroyed mechs, neural interface chips from damaged communication equipment, and lightweight metal from crashed shuttles. Everything they needed was considered salvage, which meant they could use it without asking permission. The biggest problem is power, Mike explained as he tested a small motor. Human prosthetics use batteries, but this thing needs to run for years without maintenance. Lisa held up one of the larger blue crystals. What if we use this? She asked. It stores energy somehow. That's why both our species want them so badly. Mike took the crystal and connected it to a simple circuit. The crystal began to glow softly and powered a small light bulb for hours without losing brightness. That's incredible, he said. It's like a natural battery that never runs down. Dr. Sam Carter joined their video calls every night, providing technical guidance from Earth. You need to think about this differently, Sam told them during one late session. Don't try to copy human prosthetics. Build something completely new that works with alien biology. Lisa looked over at Zara, who was sleeping peacefully in her medical bed. The girl had been watching their work with fascination, asking questions in her limited English about what they were building. She wants to help, Lisa had told Mike. She understands more about her own body than we do. The first prototype looked like a crude metal leg with exposed wires and crystal nodes. Lisa and Mike spent 3 days building it, working whenever they weren't on duty. Other soldiers began stopping by to watch their progress. Some were curious, others were critical. You're wasting time and resources on an alien, complained one sergeant. We need those parts for our own equipment. But Corporal Amy Davis disagreed. She had been thinking about Lisa's rescue of Zara ever since that day in the minefield. Maybe if we help their wounded, they'll help ours, Amy said. She began contributing her own expertise, programming the neural interface that would connect the prosthetic to Zara's nervous system. Private Ben Foster also joined the project, providing knowledge about metallurgy and crystal resonance that he had learned in engineering school before the war. These crystals vibrate at specific frequencies, he explained. If we can match those frequencies to Zephyrian neural patterns, the connection should be seamless. Word of their project reached Colonel Brooks within a week. He arrived at the engineering bay looking angry. Dr. Morgan, you're supposed to be treating human casualties, not playing with alien toys, he said. Sir, this research could help human amputees too, Lisa replied. The crystal technology is better than anything we have back on Earth. Brooks studied their prototype with grudging interest. The design was certainly advanced, using principles that human science was only beginning to understand. You're still violating direct orders, he said. I should court-martial you right now. Then do it, Lisa said calmly. But let me finish this first. Zara deserves a chance to walk. Brooks left without taking action, but Lisa knew she was running out of time. Military investigators would arrive soon to examine their unauthorized project. She needed to test the prosthetic before anyone could stop her. The first test was a disaster. When they connected the prototype to Zara's nervous system, the girl screamed in pain and the interface overloaded. Lisa quickly disconnected everything, her hands shaking. I'm sorry, she whispered to Zara. I'm so sorry. Zara was crying, but she managed to say in broken English, Try again, I want to walk. Mike examined the burned interface chips. We're approaching this wrong, he realized. We're trying to force human technology to work with alien biology. We need to do the opposite. Lisa spent the next 2 days studying Zephyrian neural patterns more carefully. She realized that their nervous system was much more sensitive than human systems. Instead of forcing strong electrical signals through the interface, they needed to use gentle resonance that would work with Zara's natural bioelectric field. It's like tuning a musical instrument, Lisa explained to Sam during their nightly call. We need to find the exact frequency that matches her brain's natural rhythm. Sam had been working on his own research back on Earth, developing new materials based on Lisa's crystal samples. I've created a synthetic neural fiber that mimics Zephyrian nerve tissue, he reported. It should conduct their bioelectric signals without interference. The second prototype was completely different from the first. Instead of crude metal and exposed wires, it looked almost organic. The crystal nodes were embedded in synthetic tissue that felt warm to the touch. The entire leg was covered in a skin-like material that could sense pressure and temperature. "This is beautiful," Zara said when she saw the new prosthetic. Her English had improved dramatically over the past weeks. "It looks real." Lisa carefully connected the neural interface to Zara's nervous system. This time there was no pain. The girl's eyes widened as she felt sensations from the artificial leg for the first time. "I can feel my toes," she whispered. Mike monitored the power systems while Amy tracked the neural signals. Everything was working perfectly. The crystals provided steady power while the synthetic nerves carried signals back and forth between Zara's brain and the prosthetic. "Try to move it," Lisa encouraged. Zara concentrated, and the prosthetic leg flexed at the knee. Then the ankle moved. Finally, the artificial toes wiggled. "It works," Zara laughed. "It really works." But standing was different from flexing. When Zara tried to put weight on the prosthetic, the balance was wrong. She fell back onto the bed, frustrated. "It doesn't feel right," she said. Lisa realized the problem. Human prosthetics were designed for human body proportions and movement patterns. Zephyrians were taller and more graceful, with different muscle groups and bone structure. The artificial leg needed to learn how Zara moved naturally. "We need an adaptive system," Lisa told Mike. "Something that can adjust itself to match her movement patterns." Mike and Amy worked together to program a learning algorithm into the prosthetic's computer brain. The artificial leg would start with basic movement patterns and gradually adapt to match Zara's unique style of walking. It took 3 more days of careful adjustments before Zara could stand without falling. The prosthetic leg learned quickly, adapting to her balance and stride length. By the end of the week, she was walking across the medical bay with almost no limp. "This is impossible," Dr. Patricia Wells said when she saw Zara walking. "Prosthetics don't work this well for humans, let alone aliens." Lisa watched Zara practice walking up and down the hallway, gaining confidence with each step. The girl was laughing with joy, something Lisa hadn't heard since finding her in that minefield. "Maybe that's because we've been thinking too small," Lisa replied. Colonel Brooks returned with 2 military investigators and a lawyer. They had come to shut down the project and court-martial Lisa for insubordination. But when they saw Zara walking normally on her synthetic leg, their anger turned to amazement. "How does it work?" asked one of the investigators. Lisa explained the crystal technology and adaptive neural interface. The more she talked, the more interested the investigators became. This wasn't just a prosthetic leg. It was a breakthrough in human-alien cooperation that could change the entire war. "We want the research data," the lawyer announced. "All of it. This technology has military applications." Lisa felt her heart sink. She had created something beautiful and healing, but they wanted to turn it into a weapon. "The data stays with me," she said firmly. "Dr. Morgan, you're under arrest for insubordination and theft of military property," the lawyer declared, but Zara stepped forward, balancing perfectly on her synthetic leg. "Please don't hurt Dr. Lisa," she said in her clear musical voice. "She saved my life. She gave me hope." The arrest never happened. As soon as Zara spoke, defending Lisa in her clear English, something changed in the room. The military investigators had expected to find a doctor who had gone rogue, but instead they found a breakthrough that could reshape everything they knew about medical science and interspecies cooperation. "The prosthetic doesn't just restore function," one investigator said after examining Zara's artificial leg. "It actually enhances it. The girl can feel texture and temperature through synthetic skin that's more sensitive than biological tissue." Lisa demonstrated the prosthetic's capabilities by having Zara walk across different surfaces. The artificial leg automatically adjusted to gravel, smooth metal, and uneven rock. When Zara stepped on a sharp object, she could feel the pressure and adjust her step to avoid injury, just as she would with a natural leg. "The learning algorithm has adapted to her movement patterns completely," Amy explained, showing the computer. Data. The leg now moves exactly like her biological leg would have. There's no delay between thought and action. Mike proudly displayed the power system. The crystals provide unlimited energy by converting ambient heat and motion into electrical current. The leg will never need charging or battery replacement. It's completely self-sustaining. Dr. Sam Carter joined the discussion via video link from Earth. This technology represents a quantum leap forward in prosthetics, he said. The biocompatible crystal interface could help millions of human amputees too. We're not just looking at one girl's mobility anymore. We're looking at the future of medicine. Colonel Brooks found himself in an impossible position. Lisa had technically violated multiple regulations, but her work had produced something that could benefit both species. The Pentagon is very interested in this technology, he admitted. But they want to classify it for military use only. Absolutely not, Lisa said firmly. This is healing technology, not a weapon. Dr. Morgan, you don't get to make that decision, Brooks replied. The military funded this research, even if indirectly. We own the patents. Zara had been listening to the argument with growing understanding. Her English had improved dramatically during her recovery, and she now understood the politics surrounding her treatment. If you take Dr. Lisa's work for weapons, I will not cooperate, she announced. You need my biology to understand how the interface works. Without me, you have nothing. The lawyer looked uncomfortable. The subject doesn't get to negotiate. The subject has a name, Lisa said angrily. And she's not your property. Captain Jake Martinez, who had remained quiet during the discussion, finally spoke up. Sir, maybe we're looking at this wrong, he said to Colonel Brooks. What if this technology could help end the war instead of continuing it? Brooks raised an eyebrow. Explain? Jake gestured to Zara, who was unconsciously helping Lisa organize medical supplies. The girl had become part of their daily routine, translating when needed and learning human medical procedures. She's been here 3 weeks, and she's helped save the lives of 6 human soldiers by translating Zephyrian tactics and warning us about ambush sites. Maybe cooperation works better than conflict. Lisa had noticed the same thing. Zara's presence had changed the entire atmosphere of the medical bay. Soldiers who had initially been suspicious were now protective of the girl. She had become a bridge between 2 species that had been fighting for 3 years. Dr. Patricia Wells, who had opposed treating Zara initially, now supported Lisa's work completely. The girl has taught us more about battlefield medicine in 3 weeks than we learned in 3 years of war, Patricia admitted. Her insights into pain management and wound healing have improved our treatment of human casualties. The breakthrough came when Zara offered to help fit prosthetics for human amputees. Private Kevin Hughes had lost his right arm in a mine explosion 2 weeks earlier. Human prosthetics available at the base were crude mechanical devices with limited function. Zara suggested using her prosthetics design as a template for human anatomy. My leg learns how I want to move, Zara explained to Kevin in her careful English. Your arm could learn too. The crystals work with human nerves also. Lisa was hesitant at first. We designed your prosthetic specifically for Zephyrian biology, she told Zara. Human nervous systems are different. The feelings are same, Zara replied. Pain is pain, hope is hope, walking is walking. Working together, Lisa and Zara adapted the crystal interface technology for human physiology. The process took 2 weeks of careful experimentation, but eventually they created a prosthetic arm that worked as seamlessly with Kevin's nervous system as Zara's leg worked with hers. Kevin cried when he moved his artificial fingers for the first time. I can feel again, he whispered. I thought I'd never feel anything in that arm again. Word of the success spread through the base rapidly. Soon, Lisa had requests from human amputees throughout the sector. Soldiers who had given up hope of returning to normal duty were asking about crystal prosthetics. The technology that had started as one doctor's compassion for an alien child was becoming hope for everyone. Colonel Brooks received communication from both human and Zephyrian command structures. The human military wanted to weaponize the technology, while progressive Zephyrian leaders were interested in medical cooperation. Both sides are demanding access to your research, Brooks told Lisa. Then give it to both sides, Lisa replied. Make it open source, let everyone benefit. That's not how military research works, Brooks said, but Zara had been learning about human politics and military structure. What if research belongs to neither side, she suggested. What if it belongs to people who need healing? Lisa stared at the girl, realizing what she was proposing. An independent medical facility, Lisa said slowly. Funded by both governments, but controlled by neither. Mike Thompson had been listening to the conversation while maintaining Zara's prosthetic. That could actually work, he said. This moon is technically neutral territory. Neither side has permanent legal claim to it. Amy Davis looked up from her computer terminal. I've been monitoring communications from both sides, she reported. There are Zephyrian leaders who want peace talks. They're tired of this war too. Doctor. Sam Carter's voice came through the video link from Earth. Lisa, if you could establish an independent research station, I'd come out there myself to help. This technology could revolutionize medicine for both species. The idea grew from a desperate suggestion to a real possibility within days. Progressive leaders on both sides saw the benefits of cooperation over conflict. The crystals that both species had been fighting over were more valuable as healing tools than as weapons. Mining them for medical technology would benefit everyone. More than mining them for war machines, Lisa made her decision on a quiet evening while watching Zara practice advanced movements with her prosthetic leg. The girl was teaching Kevin how to use his artificial arm to perform delicate tasks. Two people from different species, both healed by the same technology, working together to help others. I'm resigning my military commission, Lisa announced to Colonel Brooks the next morning. I want to establish an independent medical research facility on this moon. Brooks had expected this. The military won't support you, he warned. Then I'll find support elsewhere, Lisa replied. This technology is too important to be locked away in weapons labs. Zara appeared beside Lisa, moving silently on her synthetic leg. I want to help, the girl said. I want to learn human medicine. And Zephyrian healing. I want to help others like Dr. Lisa helped me. Brooks looked at the unlikely pair and shook his head. You're both crazy, he said. But maybe crazy is what this war needs. 6 months later, Lisa stood in the main laboratory of the Kepler Medical Research Station, watching Zara carefully fit a prosthetic leg onto a young human boy named Danny. The child had lost his leg in an accident on a civilian transport, and his parents had brought him across half the galaxy to receive treatment with the revolutionary crystal prosthetics. The connection might feel strange at first, Zara explained gently in perfect English. Her language skills had improved dramatically since becoming Lisa's medical assistant. But soon it will feel like part of you, I promise. Danny looked nervous as Zara activated the neural interface. Then his eyes widened with wonder as he felt sensations from his artificial leg for the first time. It tingles, he said with excitement. That means it's working, Zara smiled. Now try to wiggle your toes. The research station had grown from a desperate idea into a symbol of hope for the entire sector. Built into the crystal caves of Kepler 442b, the facility housed medical researchers from both human and Zephyrian species working together on projects that would have been impossible during the war. The war had officially ended 4 months ago, not through military victory, but through gradual recognition that cooperation served both species better than conflict. Lisa's simple act of medical compassion had become the catalyst for peace talks that resulted in the Treaty of Kepler Station. Both governments now funded the research facility jointly while maintaining its independence from military control. Dr. Sam Carter had arrived from Earth 3 months ago, bringing with him a team of bioengineers and computer specialists. His first meeting with Zara had been emotional. You're the girl who changed everything, he had said, studying her prosthetic with professional admiration. Your leg is more advanced than anything we ever imagined possible. The crystal technology had revolutionized medicine for both species. Human prosthetics that had once been crude mechanical devices were now sophisticated extensions of the nervous system. Zephyrian healing techniques that had relied on biological regeneration now incorporated synthetic enhancements that improved natural abilities. Mike Thompson had accepted a civilian engineering position at the station, leading the team that manufactured new prosthetics. "I'd rather build legs than weapons," he had told Lisa when making his decision. His workshop produced custom devices for patients from dozens of different worlds. Amy Davis managed the station's communications network, coordinating with hospitals and medical facilities across human and Zephyrian space. Her computer systems tracked thousands of patients who had received crystal prosthetics, monitoring their progress and identifying improvements for future designs. Even Colonel Brooks had eventually supported the station's mission. "You proved something important," he had told Lisa during his final visit. "Sometimes the best way to win a war is to help your enemy heal." The breakthrough that had made everything possible came from Zara's unique perspective as someone who had received medical care from both species. She understood human determination and Zephyrian biological harmony in ways that no single species doctor could match. Her insights had led to treatments that were more effective than either human or Zephyrian medicine alone. "Dr. Lisa!" called a voice from the main entrance. Lisa turned to see a group of Zephyrian medical students arriving for their training rotation. The station had become a teaching hospital where doctors from both species learned to work together. "Welcome to Kepler Station," Lisa greeted them. "Zara will show you to your quarters and begin your orientation." Zara had officially enrolled in the station's medical program, becoming the first Zephyrian to study human medicine while maintaining her traditional healing knowledge. At 15 years old by human standards, she already understood both medical systems better than doctors with decades of experience. The young patients were Lisa's greatest joy. Children from both species arrived at the station with injuries that would have meant permanent disability before the crystal technology. Now they left with prosthetics that were often better than their original limbs. "Dr. Morgan," said Dr. Helen Wade, a human orthopedic surgeon who had joined the station staff. "The Morrison family is here for their son's 6-month checkup." 10-year-old Alex Morrison had been one of their first human patients, receiving a